Welcome to Thriving with your host, Dr. Mike Corral. Join the conversation as Mike looks at everything that is essential to optimal living. Coach Mike will discuss what happens when we integrate the functions of the body, heart, and mind, and how they impact our quality of life and general well-being. He'll also examine the distinct areas of life that are impacted by the way individuals care for their bodies, hearts, and minds, and how they interact with each other to allow them to thrive. So now, please welcome the host of Thriving, Dr. Mike Corral.
Hello and welcome back to Thriving. I'd be glad to be your life coach today. My name is Dr. Mike Corral. The last few weeks, you and I worked together on how to find clarity and to leverage that clarity into a sense of direction and use that direction to find your purpose in life. Well, today we're going to go even deeper. We're going to go beyond clarity, beyond direction, beyond purpose, because today we're talking about ethos. Ethos is what emerges when you live in alignment, when you live as you truly are. So, in case you didn't know, ethos is the guiding principle or the spirit that characterizes an individual, a group, or a culture. It represents the core values, beliefs that we all have. It even includes our attitudes and the influence that we have on the rest of the world. Ethos is the underlying force that shapes your character and the way you naturally express your values, often way before you even say a single word. Because once you know your purpose, the next question becomes, what is the code that you live by? What is the internal standard that shapes how you think, how you act and decide, and how you show up in the world? This is where ethos and integrity come together to form what I call your unique code of existence. So, what is ethos? Ethos is not a personality trait. It's not a brand. It's not a performance. It's the felt sense of who you are when you're aligned. It's the energy you carry. It's the way your presence communicates your values before you even speak. People with clarity, direction, and purpose develop a distinct ethos. They move with intention, they speak with conviction, they choose with discernment, they act with consistency, and they live with coherence. Ethos is the outward expression of your inner alignment. Imagine for a moment stepping into a room filled with strangers. You haven't spoken a word, and yet the space shifts slightly in response to your presence. There's something about the way you stand, the look in your eyes, the calm or confidence in your posture, that sudden, unmistakable impression, what people sense before they even hear your voice. It's ethos. Ethos is, like I said, it's not a personality trait. It's not a brand. It's not even a performance. Ethos doesn't come from what you wear or the title that you carry or the accolades that you display. It's not a mask that you put on for others. Ethos is the felt sense of who you are when you're aligned. The energy you carry, it's the way your presence communicates your values before you even open your mouth. People with clarity, direction, and purpose develop a distinct ethos, and they move in a certain way. People can see the confidence in the way they move, the way they act, the way they respond. But let's go deeper. Ethos is the invisible thread connecting your beliefs, your actions, and your impact on others. And it's not easy to measure, but it is powerfully felt. When you're grounded in your values, your ethos radiates outward. It shapes the way you approach challenges and the way you respond under pressure and the way you inspire trust. Consider a leader who faces a tough decision. The team watches, but not just for what is said, but for the cues beneath the surface, the innuendo, the steadiness in the voice, the unwavering eye contact, the consistent follow through. These are signs of ethos in action. They reveal whether the leader's words match their values, whether their actions mirror their beliefs. In that moment, ethos is the difference between empty rhetoric and true leadership. Ethos manifests differently in each of us. In daily life, you might see it in a colleague who stays calm during a crisis, or a friend who remains honest when honesty is uncomfortable. It's the teacher who listens deeply, the parent who models patience, the athlete who respects the rules even when nobody's watching. These examples remind us that ethos is not reserved for grand gestures. It lives in the small choices that we make every day. Ethos communicates non-verbally. Your gestures, your tone, your decisions, even your silence, they all transmit a message. When someone walks into a meeting with clarity and purpose, others notice. When you act with consistency, people learn to trust you. When your values are evident in your choices, your ethos becomes your reputation. Why does this matter? Because ethos is the foundation of meaningful relationships. Everything is about a relationship. Effective leadership and lasting impact. In a world crowded with distractions and conflicting signals, ethos is a beacon. It guides us back to what matters. It helps others see us clearly and helps us to see ourselves clearly. Ethos that is not just for leaders or public figures, it belongs to all of us. It's present in the nurse who comforts a patient, the doctor who listens to the family, the police officer that stops and listens patiently. Take, for example, a friend who faces a personal setback. Instead of hiding or pretending, they acknowledge that they're struggling and they're honest about it. And they may even ask for help. And then they push forward with grace. It's not about being strong all the time. It's not about always doing the right thing. It's about having the integrity to admit when you're wrong or admit when you're weak or when you miss the mark and humbly appreciate the support from someone else. What about the executive whose company is facing adversity, maybe failing for the first time in a while, and yet they choose transparency? They share their vision, they involve their team in the solutions, and in doing so, they reinforce a culture of trust. Ethos shapes the way we connect. It's the difference between conversations that inspire and those that fall flat. When someone listens with genuine attention, their ethos invites openness. When someone acts with fairness, their ethos fosters respect. In all relationships, personal or professional, ethos is the glue that holds people together. In decision making, ethos is the compass. It reminds us to choose not just what is expedient, but what is right. Every choice is an opportunity to express our values and reinforce our alignment. This is especially important when the path is unclear or the stakes are high. Ethos gives us the courage to stay true to ourselves, not take the easy way out. Maintaining ethos is not always easy. There are moments when doubt creeps in, when temptation is nearby, in your face, when pressures mount, when opinions clash. In these times, it's tempting to compromise or to retreat, to give up. And yet, it's precisely in these moments when ethos matters the most. It challenges us to stand firm, to honor our values, and to remember why we even started. Today, nowadays, the world is testing our ethos daily. With so many competing values, shifting standards, it's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe, how to act, what choices to make. And yet, those who cultivate a strong ethos provide stability. They inspire others to do the same. Ethos is ultimately about alignment. When your inner beliefs match your outer actions, they create harmony within you. You become someone that others trust, someone who leads by example, someone whose life speaks louder than words. That's the power of ethos. It transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for greatness. As you move forward, ask yourself, what values anchor my life? What is my code? What are the things that are non negotiable in my life that people can rely on? What are the reliable aspects of my life? How do I show them? Not just in big decisions, but in everyday interactions. How do I show them? Where can I bring more intention, more conviction, and coherence in my actions? Ethos is not a destination, remember, it's a lifelong practice. Every day, it's who you are. It's the steady rhythm beneath your words and your deeds. Remember, ethos, it has the power to shape not just your own story. You become a catalyst for integrity, trust, positive change. Ethos matters because the world needs more people whose presence inspires, whose actions uplift, and whose values shine through. Think about it. When we come back, we'll talk about integrity, the engine of ethos. Don't go away.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back. We're talking about ethos. So now, if ethos is the expression that precedes us before we even walk into a room, if ethos is that expression, integrity is the engine that powers it. Now get this, this is important. The connection between ethos and integrity is that ethos draws people toward us, inviting trust, respect, and inspiration. But without integrity, ethos becomes hollow. It's like ethos is an invitation to a big party, but integrity is the party. Think about it. You can have all of the attraction, you can have all of the respect, you can have all of the attention. But once the attention is on you, what are you providing? What is the show all about? What is the party that's going on? You create this invitation that you blasted all over social media, and now you've got all these people that want to come to see what the party is all about, who want to attend, and there's no party. That's your integrity. Without integrity, ethos becomes hollow. It's a shell that cannot withstand the pressures of life. Integrity is what keeps our ethos vibrant and authentic. It makes people want to come back. It makes people want to know you more. They want more of you. They want to hear what you have to say. It's the silent force that ensures that our words and actions remain aligned, especially when the world tests our resolve. And it's going to. The world is going to test what we're made of. You can see it every day. So integrity is the unwavering commitment to live in harmony with what you know to be true. It's about being true to yourself. Let's just say you want to become healthier. You want to become more fit. You want to become stronger. And you know you've been eating a crappy diet and going to sleep at the wrong hours and sleeping in or not working enough. And so you decide to set a regimen for yourself. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to work out regularly and do all of these things until one day you decide, you know what, I really don't feel like it. Well, it's just me. It's just my health. I can cheat one day. That's the day you make a decision. Do I stay in integrity Do I continue to live my life with integrity? Or do I just say, forget the integrity for today? I'm going to go and have a hamburger and stay up watching TV. Integrity is who you are, even at your weakest point. It's not okay to cheat on yourself. Your word is your bond, even to yourself, when nobody else hears or sees. It's about, well, it's not about flawless behavior, I'll tell you that. It's not about never making a mistake. Integrity is about congruence. It's about matching your inner beliefs with your outer actions. It's the refusal to betray your values, even if it's more convenient. The refusal to betray your values for approval or for comfort. You refuse to betray your values. In essence, integrity is the moment you say, I will not abandon myself. This is the quality that matters because it builds a foundation for lasting relationships, for strong leadership, for a genuine self-respect. And guess what? Those are basics to thriving. If you want to survive, fine. You don't need any of this. You just need food in your belly and a place to rest your head. But if you want to thrive, it's about lasting relationships, strong leadership, and a genuine self-respect. When you live with integrity, you send a clear signal to the world. I am trustworthy. I am reliable. I am respectable. It's you telling the world that you do not compromise what matters most. When you compromise your integrity, it's like chipping away at the pillars that are holding up a bridge. It may not seem like anything, but if you do that consistently, if you chip away at something consistently, you are compromising the integrity. And anything that relies on that integrity is subject to its weakness. People sense it when in your presence, when they respond with openness, respect, and loyalty, when they see that you live with integrity. When they see that integrity governs your life, they feel safe around you. Integrity is not about being perfect, don't get me wrong. We know that perfection is not attainable. It's a goal worth shooting for because even when you don't make it, you at least settle for excellence. When you strive for perfection, you will settle in an excellent state. But chasing perfection can lead to frustration if you're not real with yourself. Not only frustration, but the disappointment, which sends another negative message to who you are. So integrity is not about perfection. It's about striving for alignment, even in the face of imperfection. It's about owning your mistakes, learning from them, and making choices that reflect your values. When you show up honestly, you invite others to do the same. Your life becomes an example. And guess what? There are people watching you that you don't even know about. There are people waiting for you to show up because they've heard something about you. Or it may be that there are people that have heard about you and they're avoiding you like the plague. That's not what you want. Just take a look at how integrity reveals itself in everyday life. Imagine a nurse caring for a patient. She listens with empathy, speaks truthfully, acts with kindness, even when she's tired, even when she's pulled a 16-hour shift. Her integrity shines through in her willingness to comfort, reassure, regardless of recognition. She might not even be ashamed to say, I am so tired, but it's so worth it to be here with you. These are people who take pride in being human, honest. They're not infallible. They have weaknesses just like everybody else. But guess what? They know how to push through. They know how to make the difference. They know when it's time to when it's time to rest, when it's time to recuperate, when it's time to be there for someone else. They know how to use their reserves. Or take a student, for example, standing up for fairness, see somebody being bullied. Teachers can be bullies too, and I'm sure some of you have experienced that. Student sees someone being treated unjustly, speaks out, and even though it's uncomfortable, even though it may not make him the most popular kid in school, even though he may draw negative attention to himself or scrutiny to himself by the faculty, his integrity isn't just about following rules. It's about honoring what's right, regardless of pressure or popularity or any of that. But what about our neighbor who lends a hand without the expectation of reward? Her actions reflect the values of generosity and compassion. Integrity lives in these moments. When you choose what's right, not what's easy, not what's popular. When you choose what's right. Maintaining integrity is not always easy, I have to say. There are some times when doubt will just creep in, and the pressure sometimes will seem insurmountable, and nobody agrees with you. The opinions clash. It becomes so tempting. Sometimes you feel like giving up. Sometimes you feel like compromising your standards or your integrity, but you feel like just turning and walking away. But if these things are not aligned with your values, it's not worth it. Those moments when it gets really tough are precisely the moments when your integrity matters the most. It's those moments when you feel like giving up and you don't. When you become suddenly unpopular and you stand your ground. When you become criticized in the face of everyone and you stick to your guns. Integrity is what holds the glue together. It allows for your true nature to show, your true value. It's the difference between conversations that inspire and those that fall flat. People gravitate towards those people whose words and deeds are consistent because they know what to expect. I worked with juvenile delinquents, and there are some hardcore criminals, and there's a mix of different personalities. And even among those criminals, I found people that I found to be more reliable than others. Because even though they did things against the law, they lived according to a code. And they did not compromise their standards. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how all of this comes together. Don't go away.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
And welcome back. So now I want to talk about how integrity fits with your ethos and what it does for creating your own unique code of existence. We all have one. We all form one. And some of us form it passively and others form it intentionally. It's important because your unique code of existence is, well, it's the thing that that differentiates you from somebody else. Every person carries a personal operating system, so to speak. It's a code that shapes how you move through the world, like an invisible compass steering your choices, your actions, your dreams. Truth is, most people, they never even pause to articulate the code or to even let people know what they're all about. You might catch glimpses of it. You might be able to catch it in someone's conversation or when they'll say, that's just not me. Oh, it's not my thing. Or I'm good. Sometimes you'll hear, I'm giving you a hard pass on that one. It's just not my thing. Those are little glimpses of someone's unique code. But purpose driven individuals choose to define it, they choose to live it out loud, they choose to make it known. Why? Because they know in their heart of hearts that the world needs it. The world needs to know it's okay to be human. The world needs to know it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. It's okay to refuse to blame anybody else for what happens to you. Now, get this. There are people who are so driven towards protecting their image, defending themselves, making sure that they at least look right, and letting their integrity go through the window because of it. What would you rather do, look right or be right? What would you rather do, earn a trophy and not get the trophy, or have someone else's trophy and not have earned it? That's the code. So here's how you define it. Here's how you define your code of existence. It's the sum of who you are, what you stand for, and who you're becoming. It's not just a set of rules or aspirations or any of that. It's a living, breathing system that guides your life. Imagine waking up each morning knowing exactly what matters to you, how you want to show up in the world, and this person that you're striving to become. That's the power of your code. In fact, once you've established the power of your code, you already begin to notice the kinds of people that you are attracting into your life. Look around. You are the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with the most. You're the number 6. And there's a resemblance in all of you. There's a common thread among all of you. The kind of people you attract into your life are people that resonate with what they've seen in you. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of lazy people that are looking for free handouts, guess what? Maybe there's something you said or did or exemplified that drew those people to you. That's a red flag. What message are you sending with your behavior? Our words say one thing, our behaviors say a whole different thing. And if they don't match, guess what? There's no integrity there. There's no ethos there. Why is it important to articulate your code? Well, because clarity creates freedom. And that's what happens. When you articulate your code, it becomes clear. And that clarity creates freedom. When you know your code, you don't waste your energy second guessing yourself. You don't wonder, I wonder if I did the right thing. None of that. You're sure of what you've done. And you stand up for yourself. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I said that. Not, no, that's not what I said. I wouldn't, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. It's about surety. It's about clarity. It's about definiteness of purpose. You don't drift in confusion or react impulsively to life's challenges. You respond with purpose. You make decisions that align with your true self. Articulating your code is only the first step towards authentic living. The first component is what you believe. Let's start with beliefs. What are your convictions? What values do you hold sacred? What is your worldview? How do you see yourself? How do you see others and the world at large? Do those things even matter? Do you ever think about those things? What gives your life meaning? For some of you, you're probably just on a different channel, and so what I'm going to say next doesn't matter because you're not listening to this. You don't care. But maybe you believe that kindness matters above all. Maybe you value honesty or even the truth when it's hard to say the truth. Perhaps you see the world as a place of opportunity, not scarcity. There are people who see the world as a place of scarcity. They operate out of fear of not having enough. And so the whole world looks like it's running on scarcity. But there are other people who realize that they actually have more than what they need at the moment. And they actually believe that more will come when the need is there. Those beliefs shape your responses to everyday situations. Ask yourself, what do I believe about myself? What do I believe about others, about life? Write down your top 3 convictions and consider how they have influenced your decisions throughout the course of your life. Are they still serving you to this day? Have you outgrown them? Do you need to modify them? Are they helping you grow? Are they keeping you back? Evaluate them. Think about them. Some of these things we've accepted over time because somebody told us that was the right thing. We accepted it without questioning it. But there comes a time in your life when you have to evaluate everything that you've been taught. And you have to consciously, intentionally decide, do I buy this or do I not? Do I believe this or do I not? It becomes your responsibility. There comes a time in your life when you cannot blame someone for what they taught you. That time in your life is when you decided to believe it or not, and the responsibility becomes yours. At that moment, you are accountable for believing it and making your decisions based on that belief. And no one is responsible but you. When you have nobody to blame, you are free and clear to be accountable to yourself. You are free to take action in the right direction for yourself. It's about doing the right thing for yourself, carrying your own weight, carrying your own load so that nobody else has to. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about who you are becoming. Don't go away.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com. plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, Hope, and Support for Caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life.
Welcome back. So I have a question for you. What happens when you integrate what you believe, what you do, your behaviors, and your vision of who you're becoming? When your belief, your behavior, and becoming are aligned, your code becomes unmistakably yours. It becomes clear to you, and you can begin to articulate it to the world. This is important. This is key. Having a code is one thing, articulating it to the world is another. And we'll talk about that in another episode, in another session. But by the way, if you like what you're hearing, if you're getting something from this, please be sure to like and subscribe and drop us a comment. If you need to reach me, if you need personal life coaching, you can go to Optimal Life Coaching and Practices. That's olcp.life, or call me 508-648-0825, and I will take your call. So I have 5 practical steps that'll help you discover and articulate your code. Number 1, set aside some quiet time for self-reflection and ask the big question, who am I and what matters to me the most? That's your number 1 value. Number 2, write down your core beliefs, your habits, your aspirations, and make it visible so you can see it. Post it on your wall, on your mirror, wherever you're going to see it. Write it in your journal. And if you don't have one, you need to start one. Number 3, review your code regularly. Review your code regularly. Notice where you're aligned, notice when you're out of alignment, and adjust with compassion and intention. Don't beat yourself up. Be compassionate and do it with intention. Number 4, seek feedback from trusted friends or mentors, people that you trust, people that will be honest with you in a compassionate, kind way. Get their feedback, because sometimes others can see your code most clearly, more clearly than you can, actually. And number 5, celebrate your progress. Growth is not always linear. Remember that. But every step towards alignment matters. Celebrate little victories, little observations, little insights. Okay? So, in closing, your unique code of existence is your greatest asset. It's like your fingerprint. Nobody else has one just like yours. It brings clarity, it brings direction, and it brings purpose to your life. It empowers you to live authentically make aligned decisions, and become the person that you truly want to be. So, tonight, I encourage you take the time to discover, articulate, and live your code. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your North Star, your compass. And remember, integrity is not perfection, it's congruence, honesty. Let your code be the muscle that makes your ethos believable. Okay? Embrace your journey, trust your code, live with integrity. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you again next week. Until then, bye bye.
How anyone can thrive regardless of circumstances and perceived limitations. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern.